Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Goldie Show. I'm Goldilocks, your ever-present host, and we're here today to do what we're usually here today to do. But what's with today, right? See, what I want to know is what's wrong with MAGA? That's the question of the day. What's wrong with MAGA? How, at this point, can you possibly support Trump, who is a wannabe dictator who doesn't actually appreciate the citizens of the United States? It's, frankly, it's amazing. I don't know how anybody can support this man. He's the worst. So we're going to talk to MAGA about this. We do need likes, as you see. There's a goal on the screen if you're on TikTok. I'm also streaming to a YT, one might say. And no, I don't just mean white. But we are streaming to 2 platforms, so if you're really concerned about where else you can find me, I have the same name on YouTube. It's kind of set up for game streams still. I haven't overhauled it yet, but we are doing this on there regularly as well. So, if you want to hop over there and sub, it can't hurt me. It can't hurt. Yeshua's prosperity. Oh, and okay. They said, thank God for President Trump. Fantastic.
Hi, host. How are you? Good evening.
Pretty good. How are you? How old are you?
Very well. Okay, so I disagree with you on your topic.
How old are you?
I'm over 60 years of age.
Okay. And you voted for Trump?
I did. 2 times.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that? After all he's done against the American people.
No, your viewpoint and my viewpoint is different.
Well, yeah, obviously, because you voted for him, even though he's an absolute monster who disregards actual human rights. How could you bring yourself to do that?
Oh, it was easy. I just walked my little self over to the polling.
I didn't ask how you did it. I asked how you could bring yourself to do it.
Easy, because look what he's doing now. He's doing wonderful things right now.
Like what?
Well, the number one thing is they're locating millions and billions of dollars so they can redirect it to America and to America's projects. That's number one.
How do you know?
Well, I don't think that they would make such a big deal about it. That's number one.
You don't,
number 2 is...
That's not a reason. How do you know that they're saving money?
Reports after reports of money that they've saved.
Like what?
How do you...
Name one thing that they're saving money on so far.
All of the lost money that
Good evening, Harpo. How's it going? Yeah, but name one example of the money that they've found.
Okay, for the spending for FEMA as an example.
Oh, FEMA's bad? FEMA's a bad thing?
Or the colleges.
FEMA's a bad thing?
Yes.
How is FEMA bad? Can you articulate how it's bad?
It's not that it's a bad thing.
Can you articulate how funding FEMA is bad?
Can I explain before you interrupt me?
Yeah, but I'm changing my question because you had a problem with how I asked it for some reason.
No, that you're assuming. I didn't do that at all.
You just think FEMA needs to be defunded. You don't think it's bad.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, after you answer my question, which is why do you think FEMA deserves to be defunded?
Because they're not operating the funds properly. That's
what evidence do you have for that?
I have evidence. We all have evidence. Where have you been, sir?
Like what?
They're bringing it up all the time. They're bringing it up all the time.
Like what? What evidence do you have?
See, this is my point. If I gave you evidence, would you believe it?
I might, yeah. If it was legitimate.
What evidence would you believe?
Anything that's actually legitimate evidence?
Okay, can you be more specific?
Legitimate evidence of FEMA misappropriating their funding. You can't get more specific than that.
No, you're making a general statement.
Yeah, I would like to see literally any legitimate evidence that FEMA is misappropriating funding.
Okay, but what do you consider legitimate evidence? That's what I'm asking.
Anything that actually somewhat proves your position.
Okay, so if I had documents, you would believe it?
Well, where did the documents come from?
FEMA, dear.
Do you have documents?
I could.
Do you?
How about videos? Videos, would you believe videos?
Well, I can't watch a video right now, so it wouldn't
No,
factor
okay,
in.
so-
It wouldn't factor into the current conversation.
That's what I'm asking
But
you.
I would
I'm
watch.
asking you.
Hold on. I can't watch videos right now because we're on a live, and I have to actually kind of keep doing this. But I would watch them later, and yeah, they might factor into my viewpoint.
Okay, so if someone, myself or somebody from my group, gave you written information.
What is your group?
Hold on.
No,
Hold on.
I need to know what your group is.
It's none of your business.
Oh, it is
I'm
actually.
trying to make a point.
It is my business. What is your group?
No, it isn't. Are you
Yeah,
paying me for the
it is.
information?
No. Why would I ever pay you for anything?
Okay, I don't think you have enough intelligence to figure this out, do you?
Oh,
Do you have enough intelligence?
you
to
don't
listen?
have enough intelligence to not vote for an actual fascist, so I don't know what
He
you're
has no
comparing
proof. There's
yourself
no
to.
proof. There's no proof of him being a fascist.
Yeah,
now let me ask
he's
you a
deporting
question.
legal residents.
No, they're not legal.
They are legal residents. Yeah,
Do they have a green card?
several of them have been legal residents.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
No,
he's
no.
literally deporting people with student visas. They're legal.
That's good. That's good because they're,
Oh,
they're not
deporting
legal.
students is great. No, they have student visas.
It's a beautiful thing.
That
They
makes
they
them
don't
legal.
need to be on the
Do
campus.
you, so you don't know how this system works at all.
I absolutely do know
You
how the system
absolutely
works.
don't. I'm sorry.
Well, that's your opinion.
You have a
That's
pathetic
your
understanding of our immigration system.
No.
Like an actual. Shut up. You have an actual.
Why don't you shut up?
I said shut up. You have an actual pathetic understanding of how our immigration system works. You can't just deport people who currently have student visas. On what grounds can you deport people who are currently legally here on a student visa? You can talk now. You have the right to talk now. You have the right to respond now that you've listened.
Okay. A visa is permission to stay for a particular period of time. You're a guest in the country. You're not a citizen. You're a guest in the country. If they're causing problems, if they're
What
committing
problems are they
crimes,
causing?
well, let's just see. Are they not having problems on the college campuses?
No.
Yes, they are.
Their problems
Yes,
are they
they
having?
are.
What
See, this is
problems
your-
are
this
they
is your
having?
problem.
What problems?
Don't raise your voice at me.
I will. I will absolutely yell at you
Wow,
because
see,
you're
this
being a
is the problem
silly.
with people.
You're being a
This
silly
is the problem with
child.
the people
Calm
your
down.
age.
Calm
You're very
down.
disrespectful.
Calm
Why don't
down.
you calm down? Why don't you calm down? Why don't you calm down?
Do you
Why don't
like how it looks like Trump is excited about what's about to go into his mouth?
How vulgar. How vulgar are you? See, this is the problem
You're
with people
making me
your age.
bored, so I have to do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it shows your level.
Can you literally name any problems on campuses right now due to activism?
Where have you been? Are you not watching? Are you not paying attention?
I am
People are-
to literally
people-
everything.
Students are not allowed to. Students are not allowed to do that if they're on a visa.
They absolutely are. Since
Oh,
when are
absolutely
they
not.
not
They're
allowed
not.
to do that?
No.
To speak.
Well,
You're talking
they're
about
not.
them
They're
speaking.
not citizens.
You're talking
Sir,
about them demonstrating with speech.
that's a good. Okay, every person who's on a visa that's not an American citizen needs to be arrested and deported. Period. End of sentence. How about that?
Every person on a visa who isn't a citizen needs to be deported?
Absolutely. If they break the law in America,
How
they should-
disgusting. How
you are-
absolutely
yes, you-
vile and gross. And you
Yeah,
call
it is.
yourself
Oh, yeah.
you call yourself
Yes,
a
it is.
follower of God?
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely
I do. So somebody-
disgusting.
Yeah, you are
Gross.
disgusting. Yeah, so are
Who
you.
is your
So are
God,
you.
by the way?
Well, I'm not going to answer that
Is it
question. Why
Trump?
should I?
I feel like it's
so
Trump.
people can come from other
do
countries
you
and cause
worship
problems
Trump?
in the United States.
Do you worship Trump?
Can people?
Do
Can
you
you
worship
go to?
Trump?
Let me
Do
ask
you
you a
worship
question.
Trump?
Do you worship?
As soon
Trump?
as you answer my question, you can ask a
no,
question.
No.
Do you
no,
worship
no,
Trump?
No.
Or do you worship some other God that you
I
haven't
think that you
named?
have some issues. I think you have some issues.
I think you
Why would
have
you?
some issues.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, you don't even allow people to speak. You interrupt and you don't listen. And your
Yeah,
face is
when
really
they
red.
come up
Are
like
you
you
embarrassed?
did, when they come up like
Are
you
you
did,
embarrassed?
shut your mouth, shut
You
your
shut your,
mouth,
and you're
shut your mouth.
disrespectful. You shut your
When you
mouth.
come up with the
You
energy
shut your
that, oh
mouth.
my
You disrespectful
God,
little
you're
thing.
so annoying. When you come up with the energy that you came up with, no, I'm not going to just let you speak. Fuck off. Get out
Of
of
course
here.
not.
Get out of here. You're not even a reasonable human being. We're not going to have a conversation with you. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I like that somebody commented I would scroll past this live. But you commented on the live. Very efficient. Voodoo, how are you doing?
Great.
How old are you?
72.
And did you vote for Trump?
Absolutely.
How could you do that?
Because I could.
Who's that in the background?
What's that?
Who's that in the background? Can I talk to them?
Oh.
From United. Come on.
Okay, I gotta go. I'm fucking flying to Australia. And this is bullshit. And you know what?
You're flying to Australia.
fuck
Why?
you.
Why? Why is he flying to Australia? I want to know what you're doing. Come back. All right. If you're MAGA, get up in the box. We're starting out strong here. We're starting out good. We had somebody who claimed to be a Christian who is against actual human rights, so that's fun. Oh, sorry, they didn't claim to be a Christian, but their name is Yeshua's Prosperity. Sure, you sounded very prosperous. All right, we're starting out strong. If you're MAGA, get up in the box or spam the chat. We would love to have you. You seem like such a kind dude. You don't deserve some of the hate. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Trump voters are too dumb to talk to. Exactly. Absolutely, exactly. Why is your face red? Yeshua, are you okay? Are you doing okay? Have you had enough to eat today? You seem like you're having a problem. This live brought to you by Bubbly. I'm not sponsored. It's pretty good though. Kip Snook, host is spreading misinformation, lies, and fear-mongering. I love that as something to spam because, like, we haven't even had the chance to have a legitimate discussion with anybody yet. Like, what have I said? Here, let me do this real quick for you so that maybe you think you're not lying, right? So we're currently in the United States, which is a country where the president and his actual administration are advocating for deporting actual legal U.S. citizens who have been citizens their entire lives. That's what the administration is currently floating as an idea. Officially, the press secretary confirmed that this is a plan. Great. Definitely not against human rights at all. Definitely not. Thank you, Harpo, for joining the team. Love you. Love having you around. Caleb, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I didn't really mean to press join, but then I saw that I did, and I'm like, I won't fight it.
Hey, you're in the box, and nobody else is. What do you got?
Not much. How's your day going?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know, I'm gonna be doing this for about another, I don't know, 3-ish hours. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I came in. The first conversation I heard was
Yeshua.
whoever she was, who
Yeah. Yeshua's
just
prosperity.
came up.
I think she's jumped out of the live at this point, but she was spamming the chat a little bit afterward too. She
Yeah,
was
she
having
was
fun.
she was a lot of fun. She had to be trolling though. No way she wasn't trolling.
I don't think she was trolling. That's the hard pill to swallow. That energy was real.
Yeah.
What are you
Sorry
up
if
to?
it. I'm just on break at work. Uh,
What do you do?
yeah, I work at a call center, a pharmaceutical call center.
Gotcha.
Which, you know, pharmaceuticals suck, but
But people need them.
it pays the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, but it's insane. I see it like these medications for a 1 month supply will cost like $40,000 without insurance, and even with insurance, they still cost them like $7,000 sometimes for a month.
Rough. That's insane. I can't even imagine, dude.
Yeah,
But you know, people need to live.
getting
Hell,
used to it.
what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry for the cough, by the way. But yeah, my break is over, but good short conversation. I'll continue listening because at this point of the call, this point of the day, it's really very, very slow. So I'll keep listening to the live, definitely.
Oh yeah, it'll be great to have you around, and I'll look forward to seeing you back up here soon.
Yeah, have a good life.
Take it easy.
Hopefully, you get a good conversation from opposition.
I'm feeling good tonight. I think it's going to happen. We started off real weird and strong, and I think it's going to happen.
Don't see it too often, especially me, because I attempt to debate with them on Truth Social, and you could probably imagine how that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That platform is fantastic.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, get
Yeah.
back to it, and we'll see you later for sure. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good night.
Y'all should have been following Caleb too. Like, get the hell out of here and follow. Follow Caleb, okay? And if you're MAGA, get up in the box. Your whole job here, your whole reason for being here is to be up here speaking, right? So if you're not in the box, you're a coward. That's it. Huh? So what is or who is an American? Dis da fake says, huh? So what is or who is an American? I have a feeling that person's very bad at forming an argument because that's the comment they got from this prompt. Who or what is an American then? I don't think you read the prompt right. But I did invite... I would still have voted for Trump if I did vote. Well, we don't look for non-voters here. You don't provide the basest level of support for your candidate, so we don't really care about you. Sorry. Didn't bother voting. Yeah. If you voted for Trump, you are un-American. Indeed, Verna. Indeed. We don't... Hold on. Kaida. Magus. MAGA means fifth degree Satan Church. Go look it up. Hell yeah. All right. You're on the right side, but we did have to mute you for spamming. I'm sorry. If you didn't vote at all, you're even more un-American. That's fair, actually. You know what? Oh, we got somebody asking, Bear. Oh, sorry, Bearded. Bearded asked, have I served my country? Yes, I'm doing that right now. If you mean, have I served in the military? Fuck no. There's no way I would ever do that. Why would I sign up to serve this country? Excuse me. No. Not in the military. I'll do what I can in this way, but I'm not joining the military, okay? That's not for me. My role in life is not supporting the military-industrial complex and stomping on the less fortunate. I'm sorry. You can do that if you want. And thank you for your service. Trump didn't serve. Exactly. Onyx Guardian 93. I wonder when you were born. Onyx, I did invite you. I did invite you up. Welding Pimp 1985. I wonder when you were born. I did invite you up. Whoever I invite up that doesn't come up, you're just automatically a coward. You see the thing come up on the top of your screen. It's an invite to come speak to me about your God in chief. That's your opportunity to actually say something to people and try to convince them that your leader is good for the country somehow. You will notice I have a goal over here of 42,000 likes, okay? It's not too much to ask that you're tapping the screen until your fingers bleed. It's very important if you're in here. Only patriots voted for Trump. That's a wild thing to say. Only patriots voted for Trump is a comment that I just got. Literally, the only patriots voted for Trump. So, you're saying that not all patriots voted for Trump, but everybody who voted for Trump was definitely a patriot. So it's literally the opposite of my prompt. Crazy. Really good take. You're really solid argument. Patriots also don't want Trump. Exactly. That is overwhelmingly what I've seen. If you're MAGA, get in the box. What are you doing? Why are you scared? Let's have a good night. Let's have a chat. All right? A fireside chat, one might say, about why Trump is an absolutely terrible human being, who is bad for America, who is bad for human rights. Oh, hey, look. We've had this guy before. White House, how are you doing?
Okay. I'm doing quite well.
Yes, I have had you before.
Oh, have you? You know, I think I would know if I've ever been on your fucking panel. But, yeah.
Apparently you wouldn't. So, anyway, how old are you?
22.
And you voted for Trump?
You bet your damn ass I did.
You answered exactly the same way the last time I had you. It's amazing that you're saying you weren't up here before. Anyway, what do you want to talk about? Do this a little bit different.
Yeah, so you have this inflammatory statement called "You aren't a patriot if you voted for President Trump."
It's not inflammatory if it's true.
What's true about it? Let's see. You have a group of
Here,
individuals
I'll help
in
you
this
out.
country.
I'll help you out real quick before we move on. It could be inflammatory.
Yeah, go ahead.
It could easily be inflammatory and true. There, you could have got me on that, but you missed it. Now go on.
Yeah, so let's review this statement, right? You have 78 million Americans who voted for the better future of this country. They wanted illegals out of here. They wanted law
Nobody's
and order
illegal.
returned to our
You're
country.
talking about undocumented immigrants.
Nobody's illegal?
Nobody's illegal.
No, I'm sorry.
No person is illegal, right?
Listen, DEI is dead. They're called illegal. That's the definition of these people.
The definition of them? That's the definition of
When you
these people?
when you cross the border of a sovereign country and you aren't welcome to said country, you are illegal, sir.
Well, no, you've committed an illegal act, right?
Which makes you illegal.
No, human
They're
beings
aliens.
can't be, by their nature, illegal.
Yeah, because you're crossing into a sovereign country.
If they went back, would they still be illegal?
Are they in a sovereign country, or are they going back to their own fucking shithole sandbox?
Did I not just say if they went back, would they still be illegal? Also, you just called entire countries a shit fucking sandbox.
Well, if you've been to these countries, you'd understand.
I have been to a lot of the countries you could possibly
Oh, I'm
reference.
sure you haven't. I'm sure you love it. You probably wear your sandals on the beach with your gold blazer, but it doesn't matter here. Our country is the United States of fucking America, okay? These are illegal people. They don't belong in our country.
You can't have...
And you know
people
what?
can't
It's
be
insulting.
illegal.
It's insulting to the
Human
American
beings
way
can't be.
and our founding fathers.
Real quick, hold on. Human beings can't be illegal by their nature. So, there is that.
Listen, 248.
What? Why'd you mute?
You muted me.
Did I?
248 years ago, our founding. Well, it said muted by live creator.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did. 248 years ago,
Sure.
our founding fathers sat there and created this beautiful experiment, and you guys are spitting on it by allowing these people.
Oh,
by allowing
we're the
these
ones
people,
trying to trample on the Constitution?
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, because I thought,
Excuse me, sir.
no, you're not being excused. Fuck that. I thought the administration that was elected is trampling on the Constitution actively in several different ways.
How are we trampling on the Constitution? How are we trampling on
Hold
the
on,
Constitution?
who's we? You're not
say
part
the
of their
administration.
gang. The administration.
I
Yeah, but you're not.
I voted
You're not
for him.
part of their
I
family.
100% endorse.
Trump,
I 100%
Bud,
endorse
Trump
everything.
doesn't care about you. The administration doesn't care about you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, for sure, 100%.
So then why is he
how do
getting rid
you
of this
feel? Hold on,
scum?
shut up. How do you feel about them deporting actual legal residents?
Like who? That Maryland man? You guys ironically leave out the fact that he's an MS-13 gang member.
According to what evidence?
According to the 2019 immigration court ruling.
No.
The federal government put forth evidence that this man was a gang member, and that's why they
Not
said he
sufficient
could be
evidence.
deported. He could be deported, just not to El Salvador.
They literally didn't say that. They said you cannot deport him back to El Salvador. Do you know what deportation is?
To El Salvador.
Do you
to
know
El
what
Salvador,
deportation is?
Yeah, it's removal from the country to your home country of
Yes,
origin.
right. So,
Yeah.
specifically
Are you
speaking,
telling me you can't
the
deport
court,
someone
the
somewhere
court,
else?
the court merely determined that he could not be deported. It's you guys
They
that
said
are
to El
adding.
Salvador.
It's you guys that are adding that as a caveat to make it seem like
They
there's
said
something
to
there.
El Salvador, sir. To El Salvador.
He is an El Salvadoran citizen, or was.
Yeah. So send him back to his fucking country.
Right, but he can't be sent.
Why
you
was he in fear for his life?
Shut up.
Why was he in
you
fear for his
literally
life?
just yourself said the court determined he can't be sent back.
Yeah. Why was he in fear for his life?
Did you not, like, are you going to acknowledge that?
Why was he? Yeah. Why do you think Venezuelans are being sent to El Salvador? Because they can't go back to Venezuela.
Why?
Because their country won't take them back. So
Okay,
guess
then
what? We
we-
still got rid of them. We found a country that will take these
You
scum in.
think we can't just send them there anyway?
Really? How are you going to have...
Okay,
so
then-
you want to
then-
put our
yeah,
military
no,
in
really,
harm's way
no,
to
really.
land a plane
No,
on a
really.
country that doesn't want it?
Can you just answer my questions?
Well, you seem you have
Okay.
you have two
the,
brain
the
cells
question
fighting for third
was,
place, buddy.
The question was, and I'll repeat it slowly for you because you can't keep up, buddy. Take it
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
You think that we couldn't just send them there anyway?
And you want to put our military
Again,
aircraft in harm's
answer
way.
my question, and then we can move on. Answer,
can't just send
and then
them.
rebuttal.
No, you can't just send
Okay,
them, you
then,
dodo.
then why can't we just go get him back?
Where do we have jurisdiction over the El Salvadorian prisons?
Then why could we send him there?
Because El Salvador welcomed prisoners.
But our laws said we couldn't send him there.
A
So,
court
so,
ruling.
so shut up. My point is, do we follow our laws or do we follow another country's laws?
It wasn't a law; it was a ruling.
Where do you think laws are interpreted?
Does the judicial?
What do you
does
think?
The judicial
Who do
branch,
you think
does the
interprets
judicial
laws?
branch?
Who do you think interprets the law?
The judicial branch.
Oh, great.
So you said a court order is a law. It's not a law.
But it is an interpretation of the law, isn't it? A legally
immigration
binding,
judge-
a
an
legally
immigration
binding
judge-
interpretation of the law.
An immigration judge doesn't determine the law.
The
They determine
Supreme
your status
fucking
within the
Court
United
does.
States.
The Supreme fucking Court does, doesn't it?
And if the Supreme Court wants him back, they can hop a flight and go get him themselves.
So we
He's an
don't. So we
MS-13
don't
gang
follow
member.
our laws. That's what you're advocating for.
It's not a law.
It's an
It's a
interpretation
ruling.
of the law,
It's a
which is
ruling.
what the fucking law is, you dolt.
What are they What law are they
You
interpreting?
absolute dolt.
They're interpreting.
Yeah, so you didn't read the decision.
petition. They're interpreting an emergency injunction.
Okay, so
Not
you
a
didn't
law.
read the decision.
What law are they interpreting?
So
Roe
you,
v. Wade was
so
a
you
law.
didn't read the decision.
Roe v. Wade was a law.
No, it was a decision
This-
by the Supreme Court that was
Exactly.
interpreting a law.
Exactly. Got your ass.
No, you didn't. Because it's the
They
same
don't-
situation, and it's the
Exactly.
same
So
argument.
where's the law?
What do you mean?
You said they were interpreting a law. What law were they interpreting? Or were they interpreting an emergency injunction filed by that man's lawyers?
Do you read anything?
Obviously, you don't, because
I
they
do.
weren't interpreting a law, sir. They were interpreting a request for an injunction.
Again, do you read anything?
See, you have no rebuttals, so you're going to keep saying that over and over
There's
and over
literally
again.
no rebuttal to be made because you're not making an actual argument. I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm not.
You really?
If the
you really?
Look, literally, the thing is, if the Supreme Court orders you to do something because of their interpretation of American laws, you literally have to do it. Sorry. That's
What
how our
American
law
law did
works.
they interpret?
That's how
What
our
American
government
law did they
fucking
interpret?
works.
In that decision, what law did they interpret?
You tell me.
They didn't interpret one.
So you didn't
They
read
gave-
it.
They gave a ruling on an emergency injunction, sir.
I'm sorry, but you didn't read it. Or if you did, you absolutely didn't understand the words. And I can understand that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
Listen here. Listen here.
Listen here.
Answer the
Listen
question.
here. Okay, anyway, if you haven't followed,
You
do
muted
so.
me again.
If you haven't followed, do so. Yes, because
Yeah,
I'm
Paige-
about to
Paige
say
Ra-
something. If you haven't followed, do so. If you haven't joined the team, do that as well. If you haven't tapped the screen since you've been in here, what are you doing? I have a goal. I have a live goal. Come on. That's the least you could do. Tap the screen.
You struggling paying your rent?
No, it doesn't. It literally doesn't even get me any money.
Oh, okay. All right, so you just wasted time for no reason then.
I'm having fun. That gets me money.
Oh, I'm sure you
Thank
are.
you very much. Thank you, partner.
Yeah. Hey, so why was this
How
man
old are
in fear for his life?
How old
22.
are you
We've
again?
already established this. 22. We've
Oh,
established
yeah,
this.
that's why you're dumb. Gotcha. You're
Oh,
still a
I'm
baby.
dumb. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I have more life
Yeah.
experience
So
than you have.
you
all
don't
right?
care about people. That's why you still support Trump. Is your whole argument?
I don't care about people. I serve my country. How do
What
I not care
what
about
about
people?
what about the deportations of actual legal residents?
You give me a name of one.
Really?
Oh, you can't. Oh, yeah, you can't. It's all right.
Mahmoud Khalil? How about him? What is his crime?
The Colombian student
What is his crime?
holding people hostage.
What crime has he been charged with?
You don't need to be held with a crime.
You don't need
Did you
to be
know
held
that,
with a crime to be deported
Did you know that
when you're
immigration
currently
law?
legal.
Yeah, so
Do you want
immigration
to
law-
check yourself
excuse
on
me,
that?
Sir. Excuse
No,
me, sir.
there is no excuse me because you just said something fucking outrageous. You don't
Immigration
have to
law
be
has a
charged
clause
with
in
a
it.
crime to be deported when you're a legal resident.
Khalid was a student on a
That's
student
not
visa.
his name.
He was a student visa
That's not his name.
recipient.
Say his name right.
I don't have to say his fucking name, right?
Okay, then you're gonna leave. Bye. Good job. You do have to follow my rules. So if I want you to say his name right, you're gonna say his name right, or you're gonna leave. You're gonna show him enough respect to say his name right. I had already said his name, so you either repeat it or you leave. Sorry. Michi Coconuts, how you doing?
I'm good. Are you only taking right wingers?
No, you got a little bit of time.
I mean, do you have do you ever invite more than one guest on?
I do. I have historically done that fairly regularly. Usually it's 1v1s, and I used to do one panel per week. But currently I'm really just trying to build this back up, and 1v1 does it faster. But I will start doing that again.
Okay, I'll tune in when you do that. I don't have anything, groundbreaking to say except that I don't understand. We're caught in this whirlwind where we're having to talk about empathy.
Yeah, no,
and,
it's amazing. Yeah.
Right, and just basic human decency when we can't seem to get it together to give hungry kids lunch.
Yeah, no, for real. It's amazing. We're removing funding for children. But yeah, the party that says protect the children is just removing funding for children in schools. I don't know what this is.
If they wanted to protect the children, then maybe they should put metal detectors at school.
I mean,
and get some psychiatric care for kids that need it.
Yeah. Mental health care would be great.
Right?
But no, we can't do that.
They're simple things, and we've been fighting a social war for forever, trying to get black and brown people even and equity, and it's like when does the nut crack and we finally do the right thing?
I mean, this administration so far is convincing at least a small portion of the MAGA population that they shouldn't have supported them. At least a small portion. Every once in a while I get one. But
yeah,
we'll see.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I've taken the approach that I need to meet them where they are. So if I talk to one, I don't throw out a bunch of policy because they don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they get defensive, right? So I try and sort of say I talked to one the other night and I kept, using my AI chatbot to check what he was saying. And I kept saying, okay, so no, you're wrong about that. I know you're wrong about that over and over and over again. And I felt like we were almost getting to a place where he was like, okay, I got to go back and look because I'm, the conversation we were having was that Putin was the aggressor with Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
And he was trying to disprove it. And everything he said was just like rampant.
You're just literally propagandized. I don't know how to tell you this any easier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
Anyway, get another MAGA on here and go to town. I'll watch.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here, and I will look forward to seeing you on a panel for sure.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one. All right, look, okay, 63% of the way to the like goal. It's just like a couple tens of thousands more, okay? You're over halfway there, and you're doing a great job. Thank you all so much. But if you're MAGA, look, if you're in the comments and you're MAGA like this guy, YBJRJK, I've seen your name a couple of times, right? Oh no, you're actually on the right side. Okay. You're not who I was thinking of. So you're okay. But if you're MAGA, you got to get in the box, okay? I don't know who I was thinking of. You could have kept coming up, YBG too. I would have talked to you, but yes, if you're MAGA, get in the fucking box. Don't be a coward, okay? We actually want to talk to you. Paladin Ken, this is literally not just rage bait. If you're going to come up here and try to steamroll, then it's going to seem that way. But I legitimately have actual mindful conversations with people regularly. Like, that is not something I'm a stranger to. As long as you're willing to actually come up and have a real conversation and not just try to spew propaganda and misinformation, then we can have a great time. We can actually learn something, and we can hopefully actually move forward as a nation and as a people, and maybe realize that all we want is for people to do well. And Trump doesn't want that. Trump doesn't care about the citizens. Trump just wants to see him and his buddies get more money. That's all he wants. I actually don't want to be like Dean and Parker. Like, I'm intentionally doing something different because being like Dean and Parker wouldn't be fun for me. I mean, it would be fun being that popular, right? It would be fun having that big of a platform. But doing it the way that they do it isn't necessarily my bag, right? I'm a little bit different. We all have a slightly different method of doing these things. Jack, do you want to talk? Because you're saying a lot of things in the chat, but your job is to get up here and speak. That's your job. Jack, I invited you. Are you a coward? Of course you are. All right, anyway. MAGA leftist, we've had you before, but I'll invite you up. Whatever. Which targets less than 1 point? I have 6 biracial kids and 9 biracial grandbabies. Hell yeah. What's happening now scares me so bad. Same. Aaron, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. Thank you. W's for Aaron in the chat, please, chat. Chat, W's for Aaron in the chat. Jack, where are you? I did invite you. I'll do it again. Oh, it won't let me. It won't let me. It's too soon. All of the social issues, crime issues, economic issues, and MAGA still constantly whine about trans. It's true. Like, come on, man. What are we dealing with here? Like, ugh. Anyway, MAGA leftist, I did invite you again. Your job is literally to get up here and speak. If you put another comment in the chat before you get up here and speak to me, which is all we need you for, I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you for the entirety of the live, okay? And that's not authoritarian. That's just me telling you what your job is here. That's your lot in life, is to come up and actually do something of substance. If you can't do that, then you will be muted. Sorry. You don't get to have fun here unless you're actually going to be a man and come up here and speak to me like a man, because I know how important being like a man is to you. I know how important it is to you. I know. It hurts. Oh, B, I didn't notice you there. Your name is so small. I would invite you, but your invites are off. Look. If you're MAGA and you're not in the box, what are you doing? Like, why are you afraid of me? Do you see my hair? Why are you afraid of me? There's only 74 viewers. What's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? Just get in the box. What's in the box? Anyway, we're living in a nation that used to signify freedom around the globe. They used to signify hope for countries who were going through authoritarian crises. We would go in there and save them from dictators. Now we're living in a country that stomps on human rights, wants to do away with the Constitution, which is the only thing that guarantees us any human rights, wants to deport actual U.S. citizens. How do you deport actual U.S. citizens? How? You can't deport somebody who is a citizen of the United States. You can't do it. It's impossible. You're just extraditing them to a nation where they don't belong and where they're probably going to be unalived by within the supermax prison that you're sending them to. And on purpose. You're doing this on purpose. As the president, you fucking know what you're doing. I'm sorry. And as soon as he knows that he can get away with deporting violent criminals, whatever that means, whatever his definition of a violent criminal is, he's going to come for me, for people like me. He's going to come for people just based on their speech, which he's already doing with permanent legal residence. He's disappearing people just because they're speaking out for Palestine. That's it. That's the only reason. Literally the only reason. They're not even anti-Israel necessarily. Some of these people are literally just pro-Palestine. And they're claiming that that hurts our foreign policy somehow. In a nation where we're supposed to support free speech by the party who says they're supposed to support free speech, who constantly rail against people like me just kicking a guest for saying some hateful bullshit. And they're praising him. They're praising him for doing it. Like he's a messiah. A messiah of fucking bullshit. Frankly, it's amazing. I don't know what's happening. Never thought I'd see such a constitutional crisis. We have the biggest constitutional crises. Even China can't match us. That's what the vax was for. What was the vax for? What was the vax for? I actually don't know what you're trying to say. I did invite you to talk about it. We are almost at the light goal. We're almost at 90% of the light goal, which is almost there. We're gonna get there in like 30 seconds at this rate. And like, how? Thank you. Please, everybody, when they prove you are wrong, I agree with you 100%. Exactly. For sure. We have 88 people. We have 90 people in here. Some of them must be MAGA. Or have they all run away? I'm going to El Salvador with you, brother. Hell yeah. Look, I don't care what happens, right? I'm going to keep doing this. They might end up pulling me from my home. And that's, it's just something that will happen, right? I actually support free speech. I support it. So I'm not going to stop. In fact, I'm strongly considering running for local office in 2026. Well, running in 2025. This year for the election in 2026. Late 2026. Soon enough, I will actually have a registered campaign and a campaign account, because that's the first thing you have to do, actually, looking into it. You have to make an account for your campaign, which makes sense. There has to be a place to track the money, right? It's just weird when you actually get down to it. You don't really think about that. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to have a bank account and register a treasurer for the campaign, which is weird, right? Like, it's really all about money, right? Like, you can't just do things. Also, it costs a lot of money to qualify. Like, to even qualify as a candidate, you have to pay a lot of money. It's weird. It's weird. MAGA is literally too scared to step up. Yeah, like this, it's not happening right now. We're going to get to at least the light goal, and then I might restart. We'll see what happens. My university just charged my Antifa club $100 for a meeting, and that doesn't occur with other uni clubs. That sucks. That sucks. They're definitely cracking down on the censoring and silencing. Yeah, I mean, for sure. They just revoked $2.2 billion in federal funding for Harvard, like a university that by and large produces more future business owners than any other. Like, if I'm remembering correctly, and it is Harvard, they're like leagues ahead of literally everyone else. And Trump's just like, yeah, we're not going to fund you anymore. Does he know how bad that is for the economy? All right, smart. Man. But of course, he's also signing for more $1 trillion into debt by extending his TCJA. So he doesn't actually know how the economy works, right? We all know that. What's being a patriot? Auslander, please come up and talk to me about it. Are you actually like Australian? I would love to talk to you about it. The fascist party is ruining our country. Hell yeah. We're all friendlies in here. This is one big family now. Look, that's not bad. Look, if you just want to come up and talk at this point, I'll have you all up for a little bit before I actually restart. We do definitely got to try to get ops in here because usually my views should be about 3 times this much at this point. But since we have a family here, if literally anybody wants to come up and talk for a little bit, just request. Like, I'll have you. We can panel for a few minutes. Also, if you like try to request up and something's going wrong, definitely let me know. Because TikTok does glitch, so that could be happening. Who knows? Save act. If I just change my ID back to my maiden name, will I be okay? Oof, I do not know. I do not know. We hit the like goal. Thank you all so much. Thank you. You did that faster than I even really thought possible, actually. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 38.
Nice. And just based on how the chat's doing, I assume you're on the correct side of things.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a Canadian, but I'm terrified by what's going on there.
Yeah, for sure. How's it going in Canada?
As long as Pierre Poilievre doesn't win, we'll be okay.
Hell yeah.
But there's a lot of loud maple MAGAs over here, and unfortunately I found out that my brother's one of them. Had to cut him off.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Well, I mean, I tried showing him stuff, and he's like, oh, all you watch is da-da-da. Like, he's blaming my sources. When I showed him a video of Elon doing the salute, he's like, no, he's giving his heart out to the crowd. I'm like, you can't be that stupid. Our grandmother died at the age of 88 with a Nazi bullet in her ribs from escaping a camp when she was 16, and he's going to see that shit and make excuses for it?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
And Elon literally did this twice to make sure you saw. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not only that, but then Zoom meeting with the AFD rally and like everything he tweets, like it's not just an isolated incident.
it's amazing.
It's insane. I just found your live today and I thought you were pretty interesting.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, usually, you know, when the numbers pump up a little bit more, sometimes TikTok really likes me and the numbers pump up to, like I was saying, about 3 times as much. Usually we can get some actual thoughtful conversations out of this, which is ultimately what I'm actually looking for here, right? I want Trumpers who are like, obviously if you voted for Trump, you're at least extremely misguided. But I want Trumpers who are like willing to accept that there could be something wrong here.
Yeah.
That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, they just follow so blindly, and when you try to ask them why, they can't give you a reason other than fuck the libs. Like, okay, so you're gonna watch your country burn to the ground to fuck the libs. Genius.
Yeah, great for everyone. Yeah. Somebody said, I want tampons in boys' bathrooms. That's somebody we can invite. Prince Hector of Troy. Prince Hector of Troy. I did just invite you. I really struggled with figuring out how to say Hector off Troy.
Oh, I could see that.
Of course, he's not going to accept. That's fine. It's fine.
Of course, they're all
Hector.
cowards. They love to run their mouth in the comment section, but as soon as there's an opportunity for them to look stupid in real time, they're like, no, not me.
No. Well, what time is it? We'll go until 10, and then I will at least restart. But, well, we got some people coming in. Who do we have here? What's going on?
How's it going, brother?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 27. You?
I'm 31. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that after all he's done against both the Constitution and the American people?
Because what do you against American people? He stands for the American people.
Do you agree that he has been proven to have tried to steal the election in 2020?
That wasn't. You didn't try to steal it. A bunch of people just protested. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the January 6th protesters. Let's
The fact that he said we? Were
Yeah.
you there on January 6th?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
I took it as a given that he was just saying we as in Americans.
The Trump
Republicans.
supporter. I wasn't actually there.
So no, I'm not even talking about that. Well, let's make it a given that they're actual peaceful protesters, when obviously that's not what they were. Let's say they did absolutely nothing wrong and they actually deserve to be pardoned. I'll give you literally all of that. What about the false elector scheme?
I don't think that was 100% Trump. Okay, I think what
It
Trump
was.
was.
That's why he was there.
I think the intention is more important than the action. Okay.
What the intention was to steal the election
No, the intention was to uphold American values and stand for the American people.
by stealing the election.
No, he wasn't stealing the election.
He was
if that's
trying.
what most people wanted Trump to be president.
Okay, sure, that's why Biden won. Do you know what would have happened if Pence had certified the votes that Trump was trying to get him to certify?
He would have been in office.
He would have stolen the election.
No, he would have won it fair and square.
That doesn't make sense.
If Pence approved the elector votes, he would have won fair and square.
Via
That's how
false
that
electoral votes.
They wouldn't be false if Pence signed.
No, they would
That they
still
were
be
good.
false. Pence would just also be a liar.
I don't know, man. If he
You know-
signed that they're fair, they're fair. That's how it works.
You do
That's how
know
it
that
works.
Trump thinks that all of you guys are stupid, right? Like, you know that decades ago he said that if he ever ran for office, that he would run as a Republican because they're stupid and it would be easy.
Well, that's a fake quote.
No, it's real.
No,
That one is a
bull-
fake
that's
quote. You
lie.
could look into
Wrong.
that. You could look it up. Anything
You
that
guys
is a
only
fake
believe
quote.
things you want to hear. I
unfortunately.
guess facts don't matter, right?
You know,
You guys
you know
love to
what's
say
even-
facts over feelings, but not when they're against your
You know what's
guy.
even dumber? You know
I'm
what's
on
even
your side.
dumber?
I'm
You know what's even dumber?
Caleb is actually a friendly.
yeah.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'm not even American. I'm Canadian, and I don't give a shit about Trump. Fuck Trump. That guy's a retard.
Okay, you can't say that. That's a slur.
Oh, my bad. Shit. My bad. My bad. What can I say instead of Trump? Or is Trump the slur? Okay. I appreciate what you guys do. Sorry, I just had to come in. Appreciate what you guys do. Keep keeping on.
No,
All right,
yeah,
peace
you're
out.
great. Have a good one.
You too.
Fantastic.
Hey, Elbows. I have
Yeah.
a question since you're Canadian. Are the Maple maggots over there so stupid that they want to get rid of your healthcare system and get like closer to ours? Like, genuine question.
I haven't heard that. They are stupid. They believe it when Trump says that he would rather deal with Carney. They believe that Pierre is not aligned with Trump. They ignore the fact that Pierre has been in Congress for 21 years and has voted against every bill that would benefit Canadians. They just want to believe what he says. They don't care. They just want to stick with conservatism. And that's how you know they're in a cult. They're loyal to a party. They don't give a shit about the country. They don't care about the person in charge of the party. It's just, I've always been conservative. Like, what the fuck?
Sounds like ours.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, I'm seeing some MAGA in the chat. None of them are coming up. I think I am still going to restart, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for coming up here. I will actually have you back up if you want to come back up after the restart, but I do want to try to get TikTok to get some other side people in here. We do need
Yeah, I
some
won't be
mods.
able to.
Oh,
I won't be able
47
to
says
come
they're
back
MAGA
up
to the
for-
death, but I bet they wouldn't come up either, huh?
Let's see. Money where the mouth is, I guess. 47, how are you doing? Good, son. How are you doing?
Yeah, but I've got a confession to make. I'm actually from the UK.
Oh, well, there's no way we could have told.
Well, I'm part of the British Empire. I mean, I'm part of the royal family, so that's why King Donald.
How old are you?
King Donald, age is just a number.
How old are you?
Hang on, you're being ageist now. That's
No,
discriminating.
according to TikTok, we need to make sure you're at least 18. Can you acknowledge your age so that we can move on?
I'm over 18.
No, I need to know your actual age, though, is the problem.
My actual age is over 18.
I need to know your actual age.
No, you don't.
For
you only
TikTok
need to know
TOS,
over 18.
This is the intelligence you can
Being a
expect from
libtard.
MAGA.
Stop being a libtard.
Okay,
Stop being a moron.
So yeah, it sounds like you're not over 18 based on you not being able to answer a simple question about what your age is.
That's why you lost the election, because you don't understand logic.
My 9-year-old's smarter than you. How about you learn to have a conversation like a grown man?
My
The
5-month-old
libtard-
is smarter than
listen,
you.
You are never.
I believe that.
You're never going to understand why you lost the election if you don't listen.
We're
to
never
me.
going to understand how you morons can support that guy.
No,
Please explain
I'm a
it.
Nazi now. I'm a Nazi now, am I?
No, I said you're a moron.
Ooh.
Open your ears.
Why do you think you lost the election?
He said, ooh.
If you're talking to me,
so-
look at the flags, buddy. I didn't vote in America. Hello?
It doesn't matter. Why do you think?
Why
do
are you
think-
asking how I lost the election?
Okay. Why do you think the MAGA cult, as you call it, why do you think they are in
That's what it
control?
is. They're
Why do you
not in
think they're-
control. They're brainwashed
yeah.
morons following a demented old man who poops his pants every day.
You know?
They've just got rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
that was
They got rid
genius.
of-
Why? Why
got
did they
rid
do
of-
that?
They got rid of Department of Education
Yeah, why
because
did they
they
do
tried
that?
to indoctrinate the kids. Because
How?
DEI.
No. Hold on. You, not being from our country, right? How
Our
did
country-
they indoctrinate the kids?
Did you know that the USA is still a
No,
British
answer the
colony?
question.
Did you know you're still a British
Stop
colony?
talking and answer the
How
question.
You know
did
what
the
they
Department of
gave away?
Education indoctrinate the kids?
Well, for a start, they tried to tell them they can change their gender.
They
Okay,
can.
the Federal Department of Education did
you
this.
actually
How?
you actually believe that children can change their gender. Now I
Yep.
really know.
Well,
Yeah,
hold
no,
on,
they
hold on,
can't
hold
as
on.
children.
We can
Hold
get
on.
taken
they
down
can
with this
eventually.
TOH,
Hold on.
just letting you know.
We really cannot talk about this since Trump brought TikTok back. It's outlawed. It's not allowed to be talked about.
Look, it's called common sense. Look it up. Common
It's
sense.
called common sense. So anyway, let me just explain this to you as somebody who literally apparently knows nothing about how the U.S. government works. So, no, hold on. I'm going to explain something to you as I just said. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
The Department of Education controlled no standards of education, actually.
Well, you didn't have any standards of education.
No, the
so-
Department of
no.
Education didn't control educational standards. They only decided funding for schools that need it. So how is removing that beneficial?
Look, having a drag queen read stories.
No, answer the
this is
question.
not. No, don't
Close
pivot.
doors.
Don't
It's
pivot.
not education.
Acknowledge what I've
No,
said.
answer the
Acknowledge
question.
what I've said and answer it with an actual reasonable rebuttal. Right?
Okay,
So,
I'm going to give you.
Do
I'm
you
going to give
need
you a
me
bit
to
of
say it
logic.
again?
You don't need millions of people telling you what to do, right?
What?
You don't need it. You
What are
don't
you
need
talking
it.
That's
about?
not what the question was.
I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
Okay, obviously you
It's
are
because he's
pro-
not participating in the conversation. He
you're
just
not
wants to
pro-life.
talk.
Oh, I'm pivoting.
You are pivoting.
You
Yeah, that's
literally
all you do.
are. Yeah, well, you're not even
There's
talking
the
about
new
what we're
word.
talking about
There's
anymore.
the new word of the libtards. You're a pivoting. You're pivoting because you're not.
Oh, that's so
talking about what
funny
I
how
wanna
they just
talk
like to
about.
call names when they can't bring
Yeah.
up any kind of facts or logic. They can't hold their ground. They're going to
Okay,
pivot
what
and name
logic-
call.
okay.
Pivot and name call.
47.
Okay.
47. Hold your tongue. Let me ask you this again, slowly,
Every
so
time
that
you
you hold.
insult, you're
Hold
insulting.
on.
You're insulting
Hold your
all the
tongue,
time.
so that
Hey, little
hopefully
boy, wait your turn.
You can listen to what I'm saying, and maybe you can keep up with this and answer the question. How does eliminating a department that wasn't in control of the educational standards for the U.S. help with the educational standards of the U.S.? How?
Why does the Department of Education exist?
To distribute funding in areas where it's required.
Right. Who gives it the authority to do that?
Congress.
What is the executive order?
To strip it down as much as possible, as much as he could.
Right.
Because he
What is
wasn't
it-
given, because he was expressly forbidden from dismantling it completely.
Right. What is democracy? If the majority of people vote for President Trump, why can he not get rid of the Department of Education?
Because the funding is allotted by Congress.
Because it has to go through Congress. So you've got the
Yes.
Senate, you've got the Congress.
Were you
you've got the
dropped on your head
judiciary,
as a
right?
child?
Yes.
You've got the three tiers of government. You've got the Senate, the Congress, and the judiciary, right? Now,
No, the
Senate's
Senate,
part of
the
Congress.
Senate is part of the Congress, right? The House of Representatives is the other half of Congress.
right?
Do you know
So
what are you talking about the executive branch?
Look, just because 37% of people voted, right?
Do you know
and
what the
Trump
executive branch is?
won, Donald Trump is the executive. He's the chief.
Is he the entirety of
executive.
the executive branch?
He's been voted by more than 50% of your 37% of the overall vote, right? Because 70% of them didn't bother voting. That's their fault. They didn't even vote.
Yeah, that is their fault. I agree. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a problem. And I have a problem with them.
I'm going to tell you something now that you probably don't like, but I don't think Trump's going to last 4 years. I don't think. Because
Hopefully
I think
not.
Why would I
The
not like
70%.
that?
Well, I'm pivoting now, right? The 70% that
No,
didn't
I'm
vote,
asking why would I not like that?
because I think you don't like Trump.
No shit. Why would we not be
Yeah.
happy about him not making it the 4 years if we don't like him? Like I said, were you dropped on your head as a child?
losing
Can you
your train
make
of thought?
sense?
All I'm saying is that because if you don't vote, you don't get a choice, right? So the MAGA is
Okay,
not a cult.
Bonehead, you said that we would be unhappy that he doesn't finish 4 years. Why would we be unhappy that the fat Cheeto would not make it 4 years? We want him gone ASAP.
Sounds
Do
good to
you
me.
understand?
I don't think he's going to last 30 days, to be honest.
Good.
Sounds
Hopefully he has a
good.
heart attack.
But I'm just telling you why he won is because the left went too far to the left, right?
Okay,
You're
so
an idiot.
let me explain that really fast, right? So the U.S. doesn't have a left. We don't have anybody on the left, right? Not in politics. What's all this noise? What is happening here?
Not me.
Is this bones? Elbows? I mean? Sorry.
Sounds
Sorry?
like doing
Is
popcorn.
that you doing noise? You got a lot of
Let-
noise.
Okay,
I was
look,
fidgeting with a piece of paper, but I
Oh,
put it down.
it must have been right on your mic.
let me give you an example of why.
wild.
Right? Just give me a minute here, right? Now, I imagine that you all believe in net zero.
Carbon emissions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
No, but do you believe that carbon, which is 0.04% of the atmosphere, you believe that is controlling the climate?
Yeah, carbon traps heat.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's
Now, okay, so do you think that if you cover all of California with solar panels and you cover the Pacific with windmills, right, that you're going to change the climate and it's going to benefit your grandkids? Do you actually believe that?
Do you understand that if we were to do that, we would be, well, one, nobody's pushing to do what you just said, right?
Yes,
And
they
two,
are. Gavin Newsom.
no,
Gavin Newsom.
he absolutely isn't pushing to do what you actually just said. He literally is not. So, hilarious. But also, if we were to maximize on wind and solar power, then yeah, we would be able to eliminate our uses for gas, right? Or at least most of them.
Yeah, how's that going to change the climate?
Net zero is not about changing the climate. Net zero is about stopping further damage.
No. Net zero.
Even if we stop all emissions right now,
No.
we won't be. Everyone understands that don't just magically reverse it.
Okay, let me explain something, right?
Let me explain some things to you. Let me. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Let me explain something to you. Let me indicate what you don't
You
understand.
sound like mamas and papas.
Here's what you've been missing. Oh God, Jesus Christ! These phrases are like you're like fucking Jordan Peterson.
Look,
Well, let me explain something to you. What people haven't realized is that I hate it.
You gonna kick me now or what?
No.
Are you going to say something of substance?
Just give me a minute.
Just
right?
speak.
They need to use something, right, to control you, right? So what they're doing
Okay.
is they're not using the internet
Yeah.
yet. They're going to do it through the blockchain, right? That's why they brought out cryptocurrency.
Are you wearing a tinfoil hat?
All right.
They're going to track everything you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
This is what you've been building to, really.
Track and trace.
And
No,
not even
no,
the
no.
fact that Elon's the one pushing going to crypto.
Yeah,
who is
yeah. Elon, when the Doge thing is finished, they're going to use biometric voting. Everything's going to be on the blockchain. You're not going to be able to do anything without facial recognition and fingerprints and all the rest of it. Okay.
Okay.
They're going to track you, right? And that way, they're going to eliminate everybody who's not an American citizen will not be able to vote, right? That's the whole
Do
point.
you
of Doge.
think you can vote as a non-citizen in America?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
No.
What makes you think that?
Yeah. I know people in California. You turn up without an ID and you can vote.
Yeah, but do you need
You
to
need
be
to
a
educate
registered
yourself.
voter to vote?
Look, California.
No, answer the actual question, you goddamn filthy rat.
All he does is
do
huff
you
and puff.
do you need to be a registered voter to vote?
In California.
Aldo, stop it.
Turn
Sorry,
up.
I'm just grabbing a water bottle.
That wasn't just grab.
Turn
There's
up.
no way that was just grabbing a water bottle. What are
It
you
was
talking-
in the plastic package. That's all I was doing was grabbing a water bottle. I don't know why my
Wait, you
headphones
can
are so
fly
loud.
people
That's
across
so
the border. You can fly somebody across the border, right?
No, answer what I'm actually saying to you. I'll say it one more time. Do you have to be a registered voter to vote?
No,
You're wrong.
really.
Yes.
You've never heard of voter fraud?
There is, so here's the thing. There is voter fraud in every single election, literally anywhere. Do you know
you.
do you know what hasn't been found in US elections?
What?
Any actual reasonable amount of voter fraud that could even slightly be thought to be a possible cause of overturning the election.
Why did some states take 2 weeks to even give a result? Why were they still counting after 2 weeks?
Because of mail-in ballots.
Sometimes
We don't
mail is
need-
delayed.
We don't need mail-in ballots.
We do
You
need
did.
mail-in ballots. Why not?
No, in the
We
future
want,
there'll be
no, shut
No.
up. What we want is for all citizens to be able to vote, right? So what you're advocating for is lack of accessibility, but we want accessibility.
Look, if you can't prove the person a legitimate voter,
What's the problem with the weird, uncomfortable? Huh?
well,
He
look,
has nothing to say, so all he does is sigh and chuckle. He has no fucking substance.
okay, when you go to the airport, right? When you go to the airport,
Pivot again.
Imagine you're going through the airport and they say to you, okay, we can't take your fingerprint, we can't look at your face, you've got no passport. You know what? Send us a letter in 3 weeks' time and we'll approve your...
You
your-
are so dense. You know that
are
the
you
airport
talking
and
about?
voting are two very different things, right? Can you stay on track?
47. Are you do you think you're smart?
I can't believe how dumb you are.
Do you think you're smart?
I know that I
Okay.
know what I'm...
Oh, he's
let's-
projecting.
Let's give you a test. What's 4 plus 4?
Wow, that's taking way too long.
Why are you asking...
Oh, actually, no. Hold on. Actually, I have to remove you, elbows. You call. You caught a flag.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right, 47. What's 4 plus 4?
Why are you asking such a silly question?
Okay, so you don't know.
I know. Well, why should I answer it?
What's 16 divided by 2?
Is this how you measure people?
What's 32 divided by 4?
Why are you doing this?
What's 80 divided by 10?
You're worth more than this, yeah? Let's talk about
what's
real
4 what's 4 times 2? 47. What's 4
I'm
plus
not
4?
at school. I'm not at school.
Okay, we'll see you later then if you can't answer a simple math question.
Yeah, but I'm not here to.
You're not here for what? Oh, sorry, you're gone already. Oh, whoops. I am actually going to restart. We are starting to get people in the box, which is good, but I think I might still have to restart because the views just haven't climbed yet, right? So I will restart. Caleb, I know you said you were going to drop off if I should quit, so I did enjoy having you.
If I can, I'll come back up. I should be able to. Just if I stop speaking randomly, it's because I'm working.
That's totally fair. Yeah, totally understand. I'll be back shortly, everyone. I will see you all in 30 seconds. Literally, don't even go anywhere. Go to my page. I have this little link to my Discord as an actual link on my profile, and I'm looking at the Discord. So I'll welcome you in the live to the Discord in real time when you join. Okay, bye. I'll see you in 5 seconds. All right, we are back. I know we were here this whole time on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Thank you for sticking around. I know there's nobody there yet, but that's fine. I see one viewer on YouTube. Thank you, whoever you are. I literally cannot see who my viewers are on YouTube. I'll have to figure that out at some point. Love you for being here. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Rodrigo, for coming back. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm good, thank you. Thanks for calling me up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely no worries. How old are you?
I am 48. I'm in Ohio, and I voted for the Donald.
Why, though?
Several reasons. A lot. I mean, obviously, a mixture of many reasons. Main reasons were just economy in general. I believe Trump's better. The border issue was part of it. And then also, I believe that the left has gone way too far left. They've really, really taken a hardcore, and I think that they've weaponized the DOJ, and I do not like that.
Okay, so the left having gone way too far left is laughably off base. Again, no American politician can even really be considered a leftist on a global scale. We have center right and we have authoritarian right. Bernie Sanders is slightly left of center.
Those were the reasons why I chose that. Are you able to talk about the Garcia case by chance?
I am able to talk about it. Did you want to address what I just said about the left of America?
Yeah, I mean, I can sit here and say that I disagree with you, but it's subjective for both of us, so I'd rather talk about things that are objectively factual.
It's not really subjective when you're looking at a global scale of politics, right? Like there is an objective scale in global terms, and we don't even have leftists actually running for office. How can you say they're too far left? What makes you think they're too far left? Let's go there.
Well, I believe that the Biden administration did not even attempt to close the border until the end of his term, when they realized it was a major issue.
Sure, we can talk about the border. What makes you think they tried to close the border?
Who? Biden?
Yeah, the Biden administration.
I think they didn't try to close it until the end of their term.
What makes you think they tried to close the border?
They started to implement some policies that diminished it, and I can look at the numbers of crossings.
Who did?
The Biden administration.
Did they? Who
Yes.
specifically?
I don't know specifically. I would assume it would be Kamala Harris.
Kamala, and no. What policies are you referencing?
I don't know what policies they implemented specifically.
Okay, so I'm almost certain you're talking about the Langford border bill that was almost passed in 2023.
No, that's exactly not what I'm talking about.
Okay, so there are no other real policies that you could reference on this. So I don't know what made you think they were trying to do that at the end of their term.
Well, here, first of all, we can show just so that you have data, and then I can look that up and show it to you. But the data is year over year. In March of 2024, the Biden administration, the southwest border apprehensions from U.S. Customs and Border Protections, their number it was 137,473 under Biden, and a year later under Trump, it was 7,181. So that is a resounding success. It's now 95%. Are you happy about that? And shouldn't that be celebrated?
Yeah, sure. It's a success for what he said he was going to do. Sure. Yeah.
It's a success for America.
Well,
and taxpayers and everybody else.
How many of those under Biden were asylum seekers?
This is apprehensions, not asylum seekers.
Oh, apprehensions. Okay.
These are apprehensions.
How many of those were deported then?
I don't know. It doesn't list that. It just lists the apprehensions.
Okay, because deportations overall under Biden amounted to around 50%.
50% of what?
Of apprehensions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what that percentage was.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are the reasons why I voted for him. And also, like I said, the weaponization that was going on. And
so do you know about the Langford border bill?
Yeah, I do.
What do you know about it?
I know that Langford was the one who spearheaded it, I guess you would say. I don't know what the official term was for his position. He was.
He authored it. He co-authored it, but it was his bill, right?
Well, yeah, he authored the bill. That was the word I was looking for. Was authored. Yes, he authored the bill. He had put into place different mechanisms with so many people a day were allowed to come over, and then it would implement policies that stopped them at that point, and things like that. And
also allotted funding for more border agents, more technology to patrol the border where humans can't, stuff like that. Yeah, I think good bill. Do you think it was a good bill?
I think it was an improvement from what we had, but I do not think it was a good bill.
Okay, so no, that is what a good bill is.
An improvement.
Absolutely is how the law works, right? You can't do everything all at once. There's no way that a bill would have passed if it was what you would have wanted, because there's no way a bill would have passed if it was any stricter than that.
Well, we didn't need the bill to pass because the Donald one, and we shut it down 95%. We're all happy about that now.
Are we though? Really?
You just said that we're all happy. Remember, you're happy.
No, I said it's a success based on what he said he was going to do. It's a success for him based on what he said he was going to do. No, I didn't say that either. Stop putting words in my mouth. Either way, stop doing that. I will say what I actually mean. Stop doing that.
I was going to say that we both agree with that.
Did we?
You just kept cutting me off.
Did we both agree with that?
I believe we did.
Did we, though? Because stop doing that again.
Doing what?
Don't put words in my mouth. Either way, I will say exactly what I mean to. Words are very important to me.
Me as well. I am the
Okay,
same way.
thank you.
Okay.
The Langford border bill was a good bill. It had wide bipartisan support, which is part of what a good bill is. That's how you know it's a good bill. Everybody wants it.
Well, no, everyone didn't want it. That's why it didn't pass.
Oh,
But
really?
yes.
Because as far as I understand, Trump didn't want it.
Well, it doesn't matter what Trump wants. They're all allowed to vote by themselves. They're big boys and girls. And
Are they, though? Because they're fucking Trump loyalists.
The thing is, have you ever looked up the statistics of which party votes more in lockstep, Democrats or Republicans?
Yes.
Because the loyal, what is it?
At this point, Republicans. Generally, Democrats.
Incorrect, Amunda. You can look up the history
At
of
this point, Republicans. Generally, Democrats. Again, words are very important to me. You're not going to fucking ruin this.
Okay, so when you say at this point, what's the dates that you're going by so I can look it up?
During this administration.
So your belief is during this administration. How many things have they voted on? What's the number that you're quoting?
How many things have they voted on?
What's the percentage that you're voting on?
How many votes have you watched?
I watch a lot of them.
Do you?
I
So
just
how
watched the
many?
one- I just watched the one where they all voted against ID laws.
Okay.
You watch that one?
What are you calling ID laws? Right?
Where in order for you to vote in a country, you have to prove citizenship with an identification.
Do you not already have to do that?
No, you do not.
Really? You can vote without being a citizen?
You can vote without an ID card. That's what I said. Don't put words in my mouth either.
Okay. What do you need to be able to vote? Let's ask that.
Depending upon what state are you in?
Oh, any of them, unless you can cite one where you don't need this. What do you need to be able to vote?
In California, you do not need an ID. In Ohio, you do.
What do you need to be able to vote, is what I'm
You
asking
need to
you.
be registered, and in the state of Ohio, you have to have
Registration. Right.
and you have to have an ID in the state of Ohio.
Registration.
And an ID.
Right, but I'm saying, what do you need to be able to vote
An ID.
overall,
An ID.
everywhere?
And you need to have an ID in Ohio for a federal election.
You need to be registered to vote. You've already answered this. You don't have
Right, I know
to.
that.
You don't have to avoid answering it.
Right. Yeah, you have to be registered to vote. You need an
Registered
ID.
to vote. I'm not talking about a single state, right? I'm talking about the United States.
What's the point you're getting at? I don't understand it.
What do you need to be able to register to vote in any of the United States?
I have no idea. I don't know every state's laws. And
An
I think
ID
You
in
don't.
every single one.
You guarantee me that's true?
Yes.
Okay. Let me grok that right now.
Oh, you're gonna look at AI. Of course, you're gonna use AI.
Yeah, of course I am, because it's going to.
Why wouldn't you?
Right, because it's going to go through in the entire internet and prove you wrong in a matter of moments.
Sure, yeah, it is because you can just trust everything you look up on AI.
The great thing is once this comes out, it gives me the references, and I'm going to give you the references to every single one of them. So
And are you going to actually reference those references? Are you actually going to look at this thing's sources? Because I really doubt that you do.
I wanted to, well, we can do it right now, and I do that. I wanted to talk about the Garcia case because I wanted to talk about the actual court documents in the Garcia case. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Why?
Because there's a lot of misinformation going on around
Like what?
about that case.
Like what?
About the fact that he wasn't in MS-13.
He wasn't.
He was. Well, then
As
why
far
did,
as we know, he wasn't. There's been no real evidence that he was.
so why did two judges determine that he couldn't be released on bond because he was a threat to the public because, quote, he was a member of MS-13? Two judges determined that and
So?
denied his bond.
Based on what evidence?
They had an informant, and they list it right in the document. You can go to supremecourt.gov and look up all of these documents and read them.
Based on what evidence?
Go to supremecourt.gov and read them.
I'm not going to do that right now. You tell me
Okay.
what
The
evidence was
evidence was
actually
based
brought
upon-
against him.
Okay, the evidence brought against him was there was an informant, he had tattoos, and also the clothing.
He had tattoos.
But the
Great.
main piece of evidence was the informant.
Bud, you literally just said the actual evidence was he had tattoos and there was one informant.
I actually just said I don't know if there was one or multiple. They never said that.
Oh,
They
you
just
don't
said
know.
informant.
They have
say
they have at
informant.
least one informant.
At least one informant.
Okay,
correct.
at least one person said he was, and he has tattoos. That's your evidence?
No, my evidence is the judges themselves reviewed the evidence and said he's an MS-13 gang member.
I'm
not
sorry,
reading.
but I need to actually have evidence of this. Just like this is why I'm not a Christian or I don't
Wait, what
believe
do you
in
need to
any
have?
other God, right? I actually need evidence for something.
Okay, what evidence for what? Evidence that the court cases happened that I'm quoting?
No, evidence that he was a member of MS-13. Ever.
Okay, the evidence is that the judges read the evidence and said, this man here, he's in MS-13 and we're not going to let him out in the public.
So you just believe anything any judge says ever?
No, I don't.
Okay, so then why should I believe that?
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Oh.
why should I believe that?
Wait a minute.
Based on what evidence?
Man, it's almost like this is Bizarro World because it's like you're now arguing the exact polar opposite of everything from the Carroll case that Trump was.
So now
convicted
we're
of.
pivoting. Okay.
Yeah, we're pivoting to when you adopted the exact opposite positions that you have right now for that court case. So obviously,
What evidence was brought forth in that court
you
case?
don't have morals because
What evidence was brought forth in that court case?
In what court case?
The E. Jean Carroll case.
It doesn't matter. We can't believe the judges.
But the evidence is what I'm asking for. Excuse me, again, don't fucking change what I'm saying. I'm asking for... Shut up. I'm asking for actual evidence in both of these situations, right? So what evidence was brought forth in the E. Jean Carroll case?
I think that she claimed that she was in a dress. And I think that that's the totality of it.
Okay, so you don't know.
I know that she didn't know the date.
No, hold on.
Wait, she didn't know the date.
Hold on.
How would I know?
If you don't know something, just
She didn't know the date, so I can't know it.
Shut up and let me finish what I'm saying.
But you understand that.
Shut up and let me finish what I'm saying. If you don't know something, it is absolutely okay to just say you don't know something. That's allowed.
Oh, yeah. I just admitted the parts that I know, and that's
Okay.
allowed.
Do you know what I know?
I don't, because you have to tell me, and all you do is ask me questions and probe. You don't take a stance
Yes,
on it.
actually, I
stance on something.
definitely do
Take a
all the
stance on
time.
something.
I
Take a
definitely
stance.
do all the time. I
Okay,
love
what's the
asking
stance-
questions. Shut
what's the
up!
stance on
Shut
the
your
case?
goddamn mouth! Shut up! I'm saying something. If you stop fucking talking for a minute, I'll tell you something about this. Shut your fucking mouth, okay?
Enlighten me.
What I know about the case is that there was one thing that Trump had to do to absolutely 100% prove his exonerance. That's it. That's what I know about it. If there was one thing that you had to do to absolutely, without a doubt, prove that you did not grape a woman, would you do it? 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 Would you do it?
God, we live in a
Would you
country
do
where
it? Would you
gotta
do
prove
it?
you're innocent
Would
in
you
this
do
country?
it? Answer
You
my
gotta prove
question.
you're innocent?
Yes.
Boy, you
He
leftists
does.
have moved far.
Yeah, he
Why
does
he
in
have
this
to?
case.
I thought, wait a minute, I'm confused again because I'm going to hear the words due process when we talk about Garcia. But what about the Donald? It's amazing.
You're really actually not good at this. This isn't a gotcha.
I'm really making you look like a fool, and that's why your face is so red. Because it's telling
My
everyone
face is
that's
red
watching
because this room is hot. I don't know, and
It
I'm
got
wearing
real
a
hot.
jacket.
It got real hot up in this motherfucker, didn't it? Because facts don't lie, my friend. And when you
I
have
like
them,
how
you
you.
make
I
people
like how
feel it.
you think you're actually doing something here. I love it. I love how you think you're actually doing something here. It warms my heart that you think you're actually centered right now, right? It warms my heart. Anyway, if you haven't followed, do so. If you haven't joined the team, do so. These people, right? These people right here, this kind of person, would have you believe that they actually want what's best for people. This person, shut up. This person right here would have you believe that he wants what's best for people, but he supports somebody who is committing actual human rights violations. He openly supports an administration that is actively committing human rights violations. Openly supports them when they're actually advocating for deporting full legal U.S. citizens. That's an idea that this current administration is currently floating. That's an actual thing that the presidential administration is floating. According to the actual press secretary, who is the mouthpiece for the administration's official viewpoints. So, if you want to continue acting like you actually care about people, then that's fine. But you can't continue speaking as if you're centered in this conversation, right? Because really what you are is a lost little child who has allowed yourself to be brainwashed, right, by an actual fascist and his band of misfits. Thank you for not unmuting this time. I had something to say, and I appreciate that you listened. Now I will kick you. Have a good one. All right, moving on. We had enough of him. Harpo, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the team. Kingsley, how are you doing?
Yeah, listen, man.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How old are you?
I'm 50 years old.
And did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't.
Fantastic.
Okay. I just want to say something. I see you cooking, man. Go ahead and cook. But I just want to say something real quick. I just want to talk about, for a little while, about our foundation. Our foundation is made up of allies. A lot of people think it's money, but, money, money doesn't keep you safe. Allies is the one that make America great. Our allies that we depend on. And now with Trump, he's turned, and I really think that he's working for Russia, because ain't no way you're going to turn all our allies away from us.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And leave us straight up in you don't have a superpower if you don't have allies around you. Absolutely. No one is an island.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
and
I agree. There's no way that Trump isn't getting money from Russia. There's no way.
I think he's doing it. I think he's doing the bidding, because that's the foundation. You tear down the foundation, you know it's over for you. Mm-hmm. America is over with. Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, you're doing a great job. I'm leaving. Just cook them like you were doing.
Hell yeah! Thank you very much. Thank you. Great to have you here. Take it easy, man. Rodrigo, do you want to be muted too? Do you? You don't have to be. But you better be nicer, okay? You got to be nicer. You got to learn empathy, okay? You can't just have empathy for a billionaire, for one billionaire, because apparently that's all you have. Empathy for one rich man who doesn't give a fuck about you or any other citizen of the United States. I'm sorry, but you've been bamboozled, and you're trying to bamboozle others because you think he'll pick you. And he's not going to pick you. He doesn't give a shit about you. Sorry. I know it hurts. It hurts to have your hero reject you in such a way. It hurts. I get it. I understand. But we can't all get picked by our heroes. Okay? It's fine. You just gotta accept that at some point. It's all right. Anyway, we don't have anybody else in the box, so we're taking it easy for a minute. If you want to come up and just talk, we'll have you. And otherwise, I think I've done all right tonight, and I'm taking it easy for a little bit. She said, "You are China's hero." You are China's hero. I'm on China's side right now. What they're saying to the tariffs is, we don't care. You're 15% of our trade. That's less than the tariffs you're putting on us. We don't care. There were times when you didn't exist. We were still China. We're gonna be okay. And you know what Trump did? He backed off. He took the tariffs off of electronics because putting them on electronics would be terrible for everybody. Somebody told him that, thankfully. Ken, how you doing?
Great.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
You can't be up here, sorry.
Boy, what type boy?
I literally don't even know what you were trying to say because your voice isn't developed yet. You're a child. Children shouldn't even be trying to do this. If you're trying to do this as a child, you need to back off a couple years. You have no idea what's happening. As a 15-year-old, you have absolutely no clue. I'm sorry, you literally do not. You might feel like you know everything. You do not, right? I felt like I was a very smart 15-year-old. And I think I was a very smart 15-year-old. But I was dumb as fuck. Because every 15-year-old is. Literally everyone. I'm sorry. I'm sure there are some very smart 15-year-olds. Just disclaimer, yes, there are exceptions to everything. There are some 15-year-olds who have probably graduated college already, to be honest. Sheldon Cooper comes to mind. I think he was 15 when he graduated or something. Dems rating is lean? Dems rating is lean 22% approval rating. Dems rating is lean 22% approval rating. Ha, thumbs up, thumbs up. Just really quick for everybody in here. I'm not a Democrat. Just really quick for everybody in here. I'm not a liberal. Just really quick for everybody in here. I generally, most of the time, do not even support the Democratic Party in most of the things they do. Because they don't do enough. Now, that said, I will always support them over Trump. Unless Trump ends up finding a change of heart somewhere and somehow becomes a great human being. It's not going to happen. But if he did that, then I might be willing to forgive him if he was willing to apologize for literally every single bad thing he's ever done, right? Then we could think about it. If there was some shred of legitimacy there. If, and only if. Howdy, partner. Whatever. I love the name. Whatever. This is my United States of whatever. I probably woke up my partner yelling at Rodrigo. Get the fuck out of here, basically. I'm not going to listen to somebody defend Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case for too long. It's just not going to happen. There is no defense for that. He couldn't even say what evidence had been brought forth in the case. There was evidence. All Trump had to do was provide his DNA. Literally all he had to do. He absolutely would have been cleared if he didn't do it. Oh, that's the kicker, isn't it? If you can't prove it, then you don't try, right? Then you don't try. Because you would be proven guilty at that point, right? But you're going to be guilty either way in this case if you, just do it. Just do it. Even if you did do it, just provide your DNA. The worst thing that can happen is you get found guilty, right? We're all still going to be calling you a rapist, and your followers are still going to be saying you're not somehow. Nobody actually would have cared if he was found guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. None of these followers would have cared, so what does it matter? Right? What does it matter? DJ, how you doing? Is that DJ? Yeah,
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that?
So I wanted to I'm not going to sit here and defend what he did, but allegedly did with E. Jean Carroll. I mostly want to talk, just for a brief second. If you're someone in the middle and you're not sure which, you see these allegations against Trump, but I would just challenge the notion that there was complete innocence from the Democratic Party and how they've treated Bill Clinton and his conviction, or his basically the same charge.
It's whataboutism.
Great ballot.
And
I
that's
know. No.
absolutely
I
not
know,
the same charge.
But but for Bill Clinton to parade around the Democratic Party, the DNC, all of his sexual escapades in the 90s, the grape allegations of Juanita Broaddrick, I feel like the Democrats turn a cheek because they don't want to believe that they have no moral high ground to stand on.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't support Clinton. Like, I don't know why this is happening right now.
I'm happy to hear that, but I think the fact of the matter is, at least for a lot of voters, is they look at the Democratic Party and they see this like feel of moral superiority, and then they look at what Clinton did, and they go, wait a second, guys, how can we stand here and have this guy parade around the DNC and be like our spokesperson when he had more or less the same charges against him in the 90s?
More or less.
Well, I mean, what he did to Paula Jones was not excusable.
More or less the same charges brought against him. And was he actually actively committing human rights violations during his term?
Was Clinton? I mean, it depends on if you think that some of the bombings in Somalia and what he did around the world were human rights violations.
Oh,
I would argue that
Trump is doing that too.
Yeah, totally. Then we should
So
call him out.
I mean, if we're doing whataboutism right now, the point is Trump is worse in every conceivable way that you could possibly name. Debate me.
Yeah, I think he's worse in some ways. He's not worse in other ways. I think they're equally worse when you talk about
what ways is he better.
When you talk about like war crimes,
sure.
They're all guilty. They're all
in
horrible.
what ways is Trump better? Is the question.
So for me, why I voted for him is I looked at his policies versus the alternative, which was Harris. So namely, I think
you're
his
a moron.
policy.
Okay.
So
what policies did you like?
Namely, I think his policy around the war in the Ukraine was better than Harris's.
What was his policy?
So broadly speaking, the idea that we weren't going to fund the Ukrainians and be this backstop, using the Ukrainians as a proxy to fight the Russians.
Fantastic.
I don't support that.
Great. So do you support Russia?
Of course not.
Okay. So what should we do?
They illegally invaded. We should foster and facilitate an end to the conflict, and that's not what Harris's position was.
Okay. What was Harris's position according to you?
So according to me, I think she's more in line with what the Europeans wanted to do, which was continue funding it via our old military weapons, more funding, monetarily. There was not really any talk about boots on the ground, but what I saw, that was inevitably the only solution if they ever wanted to, quote unquote, push Putin out of Ukraine.
Okay, great. And what's Trump doing about it?
Well, he's tried to bring everybody to the table, tried to foster ceasefires. I think he's still on the right track with it.
I love that you said tried. I love that you said tried twice. How accurate.
The difference,
fantastic.
Right. The difference, though, is what Harris would have done in her first 3 to 6 months.
No, again, stop doing this. What are you talking about? Harris didn't win, okay?
I know.
What is Trump actually doing about it? What is Trump doing about it?
Yeah, so he's met with both elected leaders, Zelensky and Putin. Maybe not personally Putin, but we've had delegations meet in Saudi. We had Zelensky here in the States. That don't get me. That meeting was a debacle at the end.
Yeah, it went great. Yeah.
I'm sure there were a lot of good conversations that happened. Unfortunately, things like that particular meeting happened to be in the public eye. I'm sure those sorts of discussions and why did it happen in the public eye?
Yeah.
Because Trump is, how do I put this?
A whiny little man baby who wants attention.
Yeah. I think he does things for his own ego.
Absolutely not.
That he shouldn't.
He intentionally put that meeting in the public eye so that he could try to humiliate Zelensky so that his followers would be emboldened.
Yeah, so I disagree. If you kind of look at that meeting, where it went south was, to me, when Zelensky, it was just... I watched the whole thing, and everybody should go watch the whole thing. Where I felt like it went south was when Zelensky addressed Vance the way that he did.
Absolutely not. So
just
where it went
JD,
south,
JD.
where it went south was Zelensky asking what guarantees there are, what security guarantees there are on whatever deal we might be drafting up.
It wasn't. It was when they were talking about when JD went off into left field, and he started talking about the previous administration, and then Zelensky took offense to that, rightly so, and started saying how Putin has gone against every ceasefire. There wasn't prisoner exchanges, like he said. Like, what are you talking about, JD? And then that led to a complete just debacle. So I'm not saying that the administration was right
He didn't say
any of it.
He didn't say and literally anything like, "What are you talking about, JD?" Right?
Sure, he did.
No,
he said, "What are you talking?" He said, "What? I'll go find the exact word."
What he said was, "What security guarantees can we have as Ukrainian people? What security guarantees for if Putin reneges on the deal, which he has been known to do before?" And then everything went crazy. Like, JD just came out of nowhere and told him to say thank you. What the fuck?
I agree. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that the administration there wasn't any wrongdoing in the meeting.
But do
what
you
I'm
also
suggesting
think
is,
there was wrongdoing on the part of Zelensky?
I think in the moment, for him to address the vice president the way that he did, I think that's where JD took offense. And again, he's a whiny little baby if he's going to be offended like that, and we should call him out for that. But like your initial question of what were the reasons that I voted for Trump, and to me, escalating the war via additional funds, additional equipment, potentially boots on the ground, this kind of stalemate, using the Ukrainians as a proxy to fight the Russians. And this, by the way, is after 50 or 60 years of the DOD and the military-industrial complex lying us into military escapades all around the world. Like, they have no credibility to say that any conflict that the U.S. should get itself in, they don't have no credibility to say that we should do that.
Do you acknowledge that so far the efforts, because he's not actually putting effort into this, but the efforts that Trump has put into developing a deal have been terrible failures and nothing has actually happened?
I agree with that last part. I don't think anything has happened. I probably challenge the idea because
he hasn't done anything.
Well, that's not true either. So to say that that he hasn't brought Zelensky in to try to talk, that he hasn't talked to Putin, he certainly reached out to Putin more than Harris would have. Harris is not going to pick up the phone and try to have a conversation with Putin. And because I don't think that they believe that you should negotiate with him. And whether there's truth in that, I think there probably is some of that. But in the past 2 or 3 years, there's been essentially no movement in the war. Over 1 million people have died.
That you still said Harris wouldn't pick up the phone and talk to Putin, as if you know anything about what would have happened had Harris actually become president. You literally don't. Stop with the whataboutism. Just stop that. Stop that as a habit. Like, not just here. Stop doing that everywhere. It's useless.
But I'm answering your first question.
You're
which
not.
Was why would you vote for him
aren't.
instead of that? And so you have to play these scenarios out in your head of what you think, how you think the world is going to turn.
Sure. So you like the billionaire who just wants money and power.
It's such a loaded question. Of course not. Because I don't think that policy-wise, that's what he's doing. Do I think there's legitimate concerns with how he treats the Constitution? Yes. But I also see that along with every other president that has ever reigned over this country. Like, was the Patriot Act constitutional?
Do you realize that with how you're speaking, you're making this conversation absolutely 100% useless?
Between me and you?
No, yes. Yeah, the discussion.
I don't know.
The discussion that we're having, the way that you were speaking about these things, you're actively undermining me trying to give actual meaning to the conversation.
Yeah, I guess I don't even know what that statement means. The question is, why did I vote for Trump over Harris?
Yes,
and this is why. You asked me for a couple policies. I gave you one.
You haven't given me anything legitimate.
I gave you one huge reason that Trump was elected was because of his policy regarding another nuclear power and a continued escalation from another party and from from Western Europe, from Europe in general. Like, that's a legitimate reason that a lot of people voted
so instead of funding the country that's being invaded by a major aggressor with nuclear weapons, as we are, one, contractually obligated to do, and as we are, two, want to do as the United States, we just kind of do that. We just kind of help people when a dictatorship is invading them. That's kind of one of the things we do. Instead of doing that, you want us to freeze funding and then try to extort Ukraine for power, minerals, that sort of thing. You want that to be the deal that we make?
Right, but we did it. We upheld our end of the bargain with the Budapest Accords. It's not meant to be in perpetuity, no matter what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, we
so,
gave them
we just have to do a
$200 billion.
We just have to do it. No, actually, no.
Yeah, worth including the military equipment that we
Great.
gave them.
Okay.
It
Good
amounts
job.
to around
Good
$200
job.
billion. So that's not a little bit of. That's not just like a. Here's a couple bucks.
It actually is, right? Because what were we doing with the equipment otherwise?
It was sitting around.
Well, it's more than
But
that,
understand-
right? It's more.
understand-
No, hold on. It's more than that, right? It's not just sitting around. What would we do with it if we could not give it to them?
We'd get rid of it.
How?
But I guess I don't understand. We destroy it.
And does that cost money?
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, scrapping material always costs money.
Yep, so instead of spending money on getting rid of it, we gave it to somebody, which saved us money, actually.
Right.
So how much money did we actually give them?
In cash? I don't know how much cash.
Okay, great. I think it was around $60 billion.
And then who are the big beneficiaries of this policy? All of our military contractors. This is very surprising to me, coming from the Democratic Party, that all of a sudden they support the military-industrial complex.
What a gotcha, dude.
Like,
so you don't
it's
support
it's such a flip.
And this is what I was actually trying to get you to, right? I want you to actually talk to me. I want you to actually try to do something here. So far you've been a wishy-washy little bitch about it who wasn't actually willing to say anything or assign any accountability anywhere. You're just making whataboutist claims, which is, again, totally useless. So maybe, are you ready to actually talk seriously about these things? Because I love to do that.
Yeah, so your question was why I voted for him and give you a policy. I gave you one. So to say that that's somehow wishy-washy is a wild take.
Again, you haven't actually said anything legitimate so far.
What part isn't legitimate? What part of anything I said about the war in Ukraine isn't legitimate?
You still haven't told me what you think we should be doing to end it. Let's start there.
He should be continuing what he's done his first 3 months in office.
So nothing.
Which is continue bringing people to the table, which is trying to work
He's
deals,
done literally nothing.
just trying to figure out a ceasefire.
Bud, this man has literally done nothing for the Ukrainian cause.
I don't know how you can sit there and say that. He's literally met with Russian delegations in Saudi Arabia. He's called Putin himself. He's brought Zelensky in.
Yeah, no,
Like,
he has a good
they're
relationship
actively-
with
to-
Putin. He has a good relationship with
to
Putin.
sit there and say-
Shut up. He has a good relationship with Putin, and he treats Zelensky like he's a fucking dog. And he hasn't gotten anything done by doing that.
To sit there and say that nothing has happened or nothing is happening,
What has
and we're
happened?
just not privy to it.
What has
I
happened?
think that's completely asinine.
What has happened?
Nothing has happened yet as far as
Great.
ending the war.
Okay, so yeah, so again,
That doesn't mean-
you're just being a wishy-washy little bitch about it. Do you want to actually seriously engage in conversation, or do I need to move on to the next person?
Yeah, I guess move on because
Okay.
you
Have a
don't
good
want
one.
to hear.
Have a good one.
You don't.
I don't want to hear you say the same thing over and over again and literally say nothing, right? Actually talk about these things. I'm trying to be serious. If you're just going to go around in circles and not assign any accountability literally anywhere, good job, I guess. What a waste of time for you. Mimi?
Yes, hello,
Hello.
host. Yeah,
How
I'm
you doing?
Ukrainian. Good, thank you. I was just listening to your conversation and it sounds like maybe I can be helpful to help this MAGA understand like what really happened, like what happened after this negotiation that Putin loaded three missiles at night and unalive kids next day after negotiations. That is exactly what happened.
Literally the only, and we know this is public information, literally the only thing the deal actually applied to for a time, it's not even in effect anymore as I understand, was energy infrastructure.
Oh my God, this is mineral deal. It's like he come up again with a more horror deal. Like he wants right now everything what Ukraine has, not just the minerals, oil, gas. Now he come up with a pipeline. Like he wants our legs, feet, like everything. All my kidneys, all my livers, all everything will left. After Russia, Trump will pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. And just to add some icing to the cake, look, if we were still actually the United States that we used to be, we would have a leader advocating for a deal that actually protects Ukrainians. I know it's wild. I know.
Yes, could you imagine that we can talk about this, like about America become this way?
Right.
Like signed with Russia, and these people defending it, like, oh, he's speaking with a Putin. He's speaking with a terrorist. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a Russia. It's not a, it's he's a T group. He's unaliving kids every day. It's like, sorry, I maybe you're looking for a maggots. I just hear about you speak about Ukraine.
No,
so,
yeah, it's great to hear from you. It's not every day I actually legitimately have a Ukrainian person on my live, and it's good to meet you, and it's good to have you around.
Yeah, I will be always when I hear about Ukraine. You're welcome to invite me. I will be fight for this always and everywhere.
I'm gonna start having panels more often, so I'll definitely have you back up.
I love how you're doing. Like you're a very good host.
Well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, when are you gonna
I cut you off in the middle of a thank you.
When are you gonna start doing the panels again?
I usually like before when I was doing this leading up to the election, I started having panel Wednesdays. So I could just start doing that again and start tomorrow. We've kind of done a little bit tonight, and it hasn't been bad. Numbers haven't dropped or anything, which is what we're looking for from that. Because, panels make things weird, right? I've seen panels go on for 6 months and never have more than 40 viewers. Like, people talk over each other, it gets difficult. And everybody knows that it gets difficult, right? Especially when you end up with 5 people up here who are on the same side and one MAGA. It just doesn't work. But that said, like I know you know how to handle yourself on a live properly. And as long as we can build up a panel of people who legitimately know how to handle themselves, not talk over each other all the time, and can engage in turn with these people in a way that, one, de-centers them, because that's one of my main things. MAGA should not feel centered in these conversations. And 2, actually accurately describes what's happening, then I could start tomorrow.
Yeah, panels do definitely have to be heavily regulated, because I've been on panels where it's just me versus 5 oppositions, and that's never fun. You can't get a word out.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. So they definitely got to be regulated, but damn, I really wanted to ask that one guy if he knows what a policy is.
Like, legitimately, he didn't even give me the opportunity to legitimately engage in political discussion. Like, say something. What are you doing?
Yeah. And Rodrigo, by the way, has been making rounds all day. Every single live I've looked at, he's been jumping in there, and I have no idea what he said any of the times. I don't pay attention.
Yeah,
to him.
He's probably a groiper. I didn't look at his profile or anything, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, let's
I don't remember what I was about to say.
let's see what John has to say. John, how are you doing?
Good, yourself?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 27.
And did you vote for Trump?
I did.
How could you bring yourself to do that, though? He's so bad.
I liked his administration from 2017 to 21, primarily why I voted for him. I just came up here because I don't understand your prompt in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you aren't a patriot if you voted for Trump.
Can you explain on that, expand on it?
Trump is openly anti-constitutional. He had unconstitutional policies, and if you voted for him, you don't support the Constitution. And I think supporting the Constitution is one of the founding tenets of supporting the actual country. And supporting the country is one of the tenets of being an actual patriot. The other one being supporting every single person that lives within the country.
Was he voted in democratically?
Yes. Yeah. And?
Okay. Okay, so there's no foul play into how he was put into office, correct?
I don't believe so.
So it was within the jurisdiction of the Constitution for when he was not enacted, but when he became president, correct?
As far, are you saying his being elected was constitutional?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that is. I'm just making sure that we're on the same page.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay, so
according to the evidence I've seen so far and my current belief, yeah.
Right. Okay. If that, so all right, we're gonna expand on that a little bit more. So Trump was endorsed by the Republican Party, correct?
Yep.
So they supported Trump, and I'm assuming Republicans that are within the Conservative Party also voted for Trump. So
if
the whole party.
Republicans voted for Trump, then they are not patriots.
So you're saying congressmen and women are not patriotic because they voted for Trump. Okay. All right. Well, you have a good night then.
All right. Have a good one. See you later. That was a weird conversation. All right. I guess we won't drill into it. Fair enough. Excuse me?
Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all with that conversation. But
I really expected that to go somewhere. It's all right. I also like to ask questions to figure out what kind of line is drawn in the conversation, right? But then just cutting it off is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is. I think, look, I've been on here for at least 100 minutes, so TikTok is pleased with me. That's a good thing. I got 42,000 likes, so TikTok is pleased with me in that regard, so that's a good thing. I don't know whether I should go to sleep or keep trying to do this right now.
Hey, what's a gumball?
Like literally a gumball. I'm just saying, like,
a gumball?
Spend a quarter on me, you know what I mean?
Cool.
My gift goals used to say buy me, but it's not actually true, right? I'm not gonna actually be affected by you spending money on me. I'm not one of those girls.
Yeah. I don't have the money to gift anybody.
That's totally fair. I wouldn't if not for having coins from doing this. Actually, like half of my live proceeds go back to coins, and I redistribute the wealth.
I don't even know how to do that. I have a few gifts that I've gotten, like doing this on lives just coming up, but do those coins just like stay in your account and you use them?
Yeah, pretty much. So, one, I do want to ask you if you have multi-factor authentication enabled.
I think.
Okay, because if you don't, either way, you should definitely check that. It doesn't make you sign in ever, so you won't know unless you actually look in the settings at this point, probably. But you definitely should, because when I first started doing this, I realized after about 3 months that my coins weren't growing because somebody was exchanging my coins somehow and then removing them from my account. It's like they had access via something that wasn't actually being in my account, right? Because they weren't able to like change my password or anything, so they weren't in it. Oh, the bubble gum, that was cute. So they weren't in it, but my coins were just leaving. Somebody was taking them out of there somehow.
Yeah.
So multi-factor, very important. Literally hasn't happened once since. So do that. And otherwise, yeah, the coins just stay in there. You can actually, like, if you go down to the gifts right now, you should see the option to get more coins, and then you should be able to hit the option to exchange coins for, exchange gems for coins. Sorry, it's the gems.
Where is that? That rose, or what do I hit for that?
It would be, hold on. Let me look in mine. I don't want to lie to you. Look, chat, I know we're off topic, but like, okay? I'm talking to my friend here. You want to go to, oh shoot, how am I going to see this over here? Messages, let's go to.
Oh, you can exchange 6 cents from live rewards balance for 5 coins?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So then, like, you know, if you end up earning $1 in gems, then you can just exchange for $1 of coins, and then you can support your other creators, and that, you know, it also kind of puts you on their radar. It's a good way of community building for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, and yes, I saw some people asking in the chat. Yes, enable MFA. Aw, cute little bear hat. Why is everything going to Trump now? I don't like that. I gotta take his face off of there. I want the gifts. All right. I think I'm about done. I think I'm gonna get out of here. People have sent me 11 hat and mustaches, which is pretty fucking crazy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I think I saw one guy send me like 4. That's insane. Thank you, everybody. I think I am going to get off of here. Thank you, especially Caleb, for coming up and hanging out multiple times for a while. Awesome. Especially since you're at work. That's fucking wild. I would not be able to do that at my job. Great job.
Yeah, luckily at night, especially after 8, it gets... I got nothing to do.
I feel that.
Like, I was busy for about 10 minutes of my last 2 hours of work. So, I had nothing else to do. I'd be bored if not.
We just hit the actual gift goal, too. 1,002 of 1,000. Thank you so much. Thank you for those 5 roses, Conversation Kill. You got it. Hell yeah. Conversations Kill, like the song. Conversations Kill. I can't remember the melody right now, but I know it's a song. All right. Anyway, thank you all. I'm going to get off of here for now. And as usual, until next time, I just want you to do one thing for me, all right? Caleb, do you know what that is?
No. I think I've only been here like one time at the end of the live.
I want you to just stay golden, everyone, all right? Just stay golden. All right. That's all I ever want from my chat. Just stay golden, all right? All right, see you guys. And you, YouTube. Thank you, whoever was viewing my YouTube channel. I'm sure more will build eventually. I do have to overhaul my YouTube channel so that people know it is actually dedicated to politics. I know it still looks like a gaming channel. I'll get to it eventually, okay? I'm probably going to get, I don't know YouTube's terms of service, probably eventually going to get banned on there anyway. Who cares, all right? Just follow, just subscribe in the meantime. And I'll see you around. And until then, you